run back. We'll see whether it does happen. I hope it doesn't, because champions like the Maokai picked on red side as well. I mean, that should never occur. So.
I think they will either pick the Maokai themselves if there's an opportunity, or they will ban it instead this time around, because the entire game revolved around massive leads. We talked about conditional scaling, the term that you introduced there, and the conditions were met. And
they were indeed. Yeah, it was, the conditions were make Canna more money than Dudu and give Deft a couple of kills. And they did those, and it all worked out. As Elise and Yuumi going to be the first two bans once again. Lucian Kate, once again, first two bans.
And Def didn't have much of a part to play in this last game, you know? Okay, Jace is going to be the change-up here.
Interesting. So the Jace flex, not going to be a possibility.
Ashe.
Was difficult, as Ashe is available, Varus is available. Heimerdinger, not so available. So is it going to be the Ashe? Is it going to be the Varus? See where Connor Freaks are going to go.
You can take the Varus here if you're not confident in what D+ is going to be able to put together here with the Heimerdinger ban in terms of Ashe push power. Like, this is a really tough call.
Oh my goodness. But it's actually, it's so smart from D+ Kia, because now, if the Varus gets locked in, they get Maokai Ashe. If Ashe gets locked in, they get Maokai Varus, arguably one of the best combos we've seen. And if they lock in Maokai, Ashe Varus.
No.
You can't win.
You can't win. And this is red side power in this Insta-Lux here. Insta-Lux.
Insta-Lux?
No Lux. But,
Ashe Lux?
Now, the one thing that Guangdong Freaks do get is the Sejuani with this, of course, which is very strong in terms of single target pick. Varus is going to be fairly vulnerable here, and we will finally get to see Deft play Varus, so that's a huge win in my book. So thank you, Guangdong, for that. That's how you're winning this one.
Yeah,
you're winning my heart. This can be quite risky. Now, the K'Sante pickup very early in this draft here for Dudu, so they can have a little bit more brawling in the team fight, some more follow-up CC. But you're running into a Maokai still. And Varus, in terms of options here for who he's going to lane with, could just be Karma. You feel pretty okay with that one. You can lock out some of the supports here for Guangdong Freaks. They will take the Karma option.
All right. So Karma's theoretically a flex pick still as well, but I think it's likely going to be in Kellen's hands. He does like his enchanters a lot more than going for more of these eclectic picks. We're not going to talk about the Jack support that he's been playing in solo queue. We need to just leave that. Hopefully that never comes out.
Well, you've taken away the Sipper, which is one of the strongest ways you could push into the Karma Varus very aggressively in the early game and get Ashe a lot of advantages there. It's the support variation, of course. We'll see what else they ban here away from the bottom 2v2, because this Ashe could be either support or AD carry. I think Guangdong are hoping they can find something where they can make this Ashe a support, because Ashe AD carry has not found the same success here in the LCK. Not bad by any means, but just a little bit limiting in what you could do damage-wise, especially in a comp like this one.
Yeah.
Draven.
Ooh, okay.
So, I mean, these are two picks you'd love to have with the Ashe to push in Varus Karma. And now it gets really tricky in the bottom side of the map here.
Is it a Kalista angle, is the question.
It could be, and it obviously gives you a lot of power in terms of what you could do with the damage in the lane, but tough against this Karma pick, I feel, and might be very outranged by Varus. It depends on how it's played out, but could be one of the best options here, because everything else comes up like, it comes up melee, all in, good luck, you know, Nautilus, Leona colored.
Yeah.
Which I don't like in this draft here.
We kind of need some physical damage for that top lane. I was thinking that maybe there's the Gwen angle if you do want to continue flexing the Karma, but your entire top side being magic damage doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
So the Gnar does make a bit of sense here for Canna. It's certainly one of his more successful champions.
4-1 this season. He's been so good on it, and he has, you know, essentially a counter pick now, the range that he's going to have here. He's dominated K'Sante's in the early weeks here of the LCK. Now we're going to find out what it's going to be here. Bulldog, of course, does have counter pick against him. He's going to pick the Sylas again, it looks like here. Very strong into Gnar, as we've seen many a time, and usually the Gnar pick is kind of protected by a Sylas ban or a Sylas pick in this case. Ooh. Jhin, we talked about a lot of Jhin, but usually it's with the Maokai on your side. Against you, doesn't feel great. Now, Sylas can steal that ultimate away, but you're really very conditional on how your team fights are going to work, and there are so many threats on the side of D+ Kia here. This pick doesn't feel as great as the Kalista, but it's going to be the one they lock in.
And is it the Jun Jhin or is it the Taeun Jhin? You know, that's what we've got to figure out.
I think it's Taeun in this draft.
Yeah, I'd like the Ashe support to come through as well as Showmaker, considering the LeBlanc pickup.
I think it's very good here because there's not a lot of protection for the Jhin in the back line. The Ashe is going to be very squishy too, and isn't going to provide much peel. Sometimes you have a melee support in older LeBlanc metas that can kind of push the LeBlanc away or threaten her and force her to distort back very quickly, and maybe the AD carry can survive. You know, something like an Aphelios does a little bit of damage back, has a shield bow, and then you get a trade there. But in this draft, in this game, Sylas needs to be going forward with Sejuani and the Ashe arrows. So every time that happens, LeBlanc has an opportunity to kill an Ashe or kill a Jhin in the back line. And who can stop Showmaker in this draft? If he is not far behind, he's going to have tons of blow-up potential here with the Ludens build.
Yeah. It is pretty straightforward, very similar to what we saw in the draft last time around, and by similar I mean there's a Maokai in the hands of Canyon once again. We'll see whether Kwangdong Freak's going to be able to play around it a little bit better this time. Of course, having their own Nature's Grasp is important. The Sylas going to be very, very strong. The last time it was dealt with, this time we'll see whether it can actually get a foothold in this game.
The Ashe, Jhin, Sejuani screams pick potential. You know, you lock somebody down with the arrow. Sejuani ult comes through. Jhin either with the follow-up flourish or ultimate. That target is dead. But how can you hit the targets here on the side of D plus Kia? If it's a Maokai, he's probably not going to die. You can't hit LeBlanc. That's not going to happen. Gnar is going to be off on a flank angle, so he's not your pick target. You're really hoping to dominate the AD carry maybe with a pick like that, but all it takes is a cleanse to get out of the whole combo here. I think this is a very optimistic draft here. It's basic for Kwangdong Freaks, but the win conditions are so difficult to pull off.
See how the laning phase is going to go. A lot of the games these days do come down to that, as Canna on a champion he's comfortable with. Showmaker on LeBlanc for the second time this season. See how it goes here as we get onto the Rift for Game 2. All right, here we go. Once again, Canyon's Maokai, we'll see what he has planned for it this time, as everyone on Kwangdong Freaks is here.
Good check.
Yeah, that was a high-value mantra.
Yeah. The Sylas level 1, we see it usually on red side, as the pick priority does normally go to the Sylas there by the red team. And we see this all the time to try to get control of the level 1. We'll go Kwangdong Freaks' way. Could have gone a lot worse for D+, had the check not come through from Kellen. So good read. Level 1 Sylas, respect being shown.
Truly, as Dudu is on the bottom side right now. He's got a bit of a walk to get back towards that top side as the minions do spawn. He'll make it there. The Conga line is not exactly the speediest of things. See how Taeyeon and Jun are going to do here. We do have the Halo Blades coming through for the support Ashe. That Sickle going to be getting a lot of value, as we know. And Fleet Footwork for the Jhin.
It's going to get a lot of value based on the fact that they get level 1 control, they get brush control here. So notice how Kellen and Deft are going to have to kind of carefully suss their way forward here. Kellen's going to try to Q the bush. They get the hit, they back away. So we've got to make sure that there's no chain here of June's auto attacks onto either, and then a flourish can come through, things get very disastrous. And you could basically have to use summoners right then and there at level 1 if you mess that up, if you don't respect the Ashe slows. Looking at the runes here will be lethal tempo here for Deft in this draft.
Yeah, so he's actually going to go the more auto attack based Varus build. Kind of interesting. Wanting to be able to go toe-to-toe, give that DPS towards the late game, and will allow them to get through tanks, I guess, a little bit more effectively. K'Sante and Sejuani, of course, pretty beefy as the game goes on. But does mean that you lack that poke just a little. You lack the amount of mana that Varus does go through if you're going to use his abilities a lot.
And when you see the... this is actually something that was discussed a lot recently on the Korean side, and it was even on the previous analyst desk for Game 2 with the KT series. The Relic Shield. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, there's a Flash Twisted Advance. This is another way to gank. Instead of staying in a brush for a minute, you just come into the lane and you kill them. And that is precisely what they're looking to do. But Dudu makes his way out. Never you mind.
Yep. It's going to be a trade of ghosts here. Flash expended for Canyon. Doesn't come up big with it. And on the bottom side here, you see the Spell Thief's Edge for Kellen, which means that he's just saying, we're going to be sitting under turret. We're going lethal tempo. We're not going to try to trade back the poke here against this Ashe. We're just going to weather the storm. And whether they will now down here on the bottom side, and Canyon not making that top side play work here. Youngjae actually gets the free blue buff here, uncontested, scries that Canyon is pathing down here now. So all the information to this Ashe Jhin lane It's really easy to just drop a ward, as you see them do exactly there in the river. And because Canyon doesn't have flash, there's no creative pathing he can take. This is a huge win for Kwangdong Freaks, basically on both opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit silly, you know, expecting K'Sante to die. I'm just, maybe I'm just not used
Still
to it.
early days.
Yeah.
Still, it's only been a few weeks. Still in the first patch.
It's like old dogs, new tricks. You know, it's difficult. You know, I see jungler get to top lane and land that flash twisted advance, and I'm like, top lane is dead.
You know,
not in K'Sante's case.
It's a really good jungle player who also thought he was dead.
Yeah, and walked away. Wasn't actually able to grab that kill in the end. But D+ here now with a little bit of control towards this bottom side. Match30 just to poke them out. Looks like a back timing to be picked up for Deft. We'll go home, we'll see what he can collect. Of course, Vampiric Scepter often the first buy, and there it is.
So the difference in Karma build here with the Relic Shield versus the Spell Thief's Edge is the Relic Shield is going to give you a little bit more regen, and also you can delete the minions essentially and just say, all right, I'm going to push this forward, and that's how you can really get some extra push and get level 2 faster and say, I'm going to fight this. But when you go for the Spell Thief's Edge, you're just playing more passively, get a little bit more, you know, set up to sit back and regen mana, because that's what you regen with that, and just kind of constantly relieve the pressure, and that's the difference here for Kellen with this one. Nice route from Showmaker.
Yep. Nicely done. We'll see how Kellen's going to go as far as making that money is concerned. Feels like he should be able to put on a fair bit of pressure with this regardless, as Dudu shoves this wave in. Canyon up towards the top side once again. 26 to 39. Decent advantage for the K'Sante in this lane so far.
Yeah. Showmaker going Ignite, by the way, which is part of why he's now kind of falling a little bit behind here, because he doesn't have Teleport, didn't want to back, but is limited by his mana pool, so is going to have to back now, and Silas is going to get a free one as a result. Trying to rush as quickly as he can to that Rod of Ages, so having a pretty nice early game. A lot of range matchups in the Silas, you have a little bit more discomfort, a little bit more pressure on you. As you can see, these minions going down here. Showmaker not able to get the trades he wants with that first mana bar with no TP. It's going to be a slight edge to the Silas, so it feels bad for Showmaker here to start.
Yeah, not being able to back on a cannon wave as well is definitely very, very sad. Misses out on an entire wave. That is how far behind he is right now. Not end of the world or anything like that, but these sort of things, especially when it's a Silas that you're talking about, can be difficult, as now Dudu going to go all out onto Canna here. This is going to be real tough for the Gnar to survive, and he's not going to. Top of the morning to you, sir. As first blood solo kill for Dudu.
Level 6 advantage means he can play this one out this way if he actually has Ghost, which he does. He gets behind Kana, pulls him away from the turret, then ults him back. Very difficult to aggressively get a kill in this matchup specifically, but Dudu plays it well, gets ahead, has level 6 faster, now has a 20 CS lead and a kill under his belt. Look at the plate gold. This is very rare. Remember, this is the matchup that you pick Gnar into. It's a very comfortable matchup for Gnar. You have that range advantage. Things can go awry if you make a mistake. Canyon went up top side there, did not actually find the kill, and now Dudu has a massive lead here. Considering Showmaker falls a little bit behind here early, and it's been kind of a free lane here for Bulldog as well. A lot going well when you already have this perma-prio lane bottom side.
Oh no, it's brilliant. And they're also going to land the Deadly Flourish onto Deft here. Fair bit of damage from Taeyun. Not anything really going to result, as the wave is once again heading forward. Deft going to clear these ones out, and it should all even itself out. In fact, dead even between the two bottom lane 80 carries. Rest of the map certainly in favor of Kwangdong Freaks. It is going to mean about a 1,000 gold lead, as Mountain Drake going to be the first one. That is still alive for now. Vision for both teams in the area.
June just farming up this sickle. Already has his boots online here with the lane they're pushing. They grab it early so they can put more pressure on Deft and Kellen. And it looks like Kellen is going to come over here to the Rift Herald, look for that early fight here. Might actually look for a gank in mid beforehand, so Showmaker get enough of an advantage for the Silas is once again sitting at 60% health or so, just like last game. Canyon doesn't have level 6 just yet. And this is a very scary moment here for D+K if they commit hard to this Herald and fail, because they don't have topside prio here. It's a tough fight to win this early for LeBlanc. And look at Youngjae has level 6 advantage.
Yeah, this is actually huge. We'll see how close Canyon is to that level 6, as he desperately wants to be able to get it. Bulldog's roaming over though, as Showmaker getting in the area, finds the chain, permafrost, not going to get followed up on.
Youngjae should know, because Canyon went for that failed gank, that he has 6 advantage and that Canyon is desperately trying to get it, so he's just trying to deny him by coming over here and taking these Raptors away, maintaining that level of advantage here. Ash also can get 6 in a wave far away from the Herald and still have an impact. They're just keeping D+ off of this objective.
Yeah, and you can see still Dudu is having a phenomenal time. 22 CS in the lead. Casante. I mean, Dudu's always been a pretty great player when it comes to champions that can bully. And he bullies very well. Is definitely doing so now. As we check out the solo kill once again. Just Casante.
Yeah, so dashes over, gets the knock up here behind Kana, that ults him back. Can, of course, just follow through here very easily. Kana, no way out of this one, unfortunately. And no flash on this Gnar, right? Took the Ghost into this matchup, so you're just dead. And I think Dudu really identifying very well the vulnerability there with the level 6 advantage.
Yeah.
And this lane is just continuing to just be paying dividends for Dudu. He's ulting again.
Yeah, he's ulting Canna. This one's underneath the turret this time. He does avoid the Q, though, as Dudu is real hungry for this one. Not going to get there. He's just coming back. He's going to find one more.
Zoning him out. Doesn't get the kill here, but still gets a lot out of this, deleting more minions here, grabbing another plate.
Message received, Wolf.
Bottom side, Canyon finally has ult, and he's coming over here for punish.
Yeah, Nature's Grasp now going to come down. There's the flash forward from Kellen. Taeyoon going to immediately cleanse as the Nature's Grasp connects onto the Ashe. He throws the arrow. Just don't think it's going to be enough. Deadly Flourish doesn't really work out. Chains of Corruption to continue it. This is the power of the Varus and the Maokai. D+ here, they're on the board.
Yeah, June there trying to sacrifice himself, and he playing it so well to just say, okay, I'm going to die, but we should be able to get you out of here at least. The cleanse was good from Taeyoon, but Def comes in with the Chains of Corruption and changes the storyline on that one. Guangdong Freaks trying to trade this for topside control here with what they have. Due to it with a back timing here, does have TP if needed, coming up in just a second here, but it is going to be a trade of kills here, and the Drake versus Herald. And if you give this money to Sylas right now, because Dudu's already ahead, and the Ashe Jhin is just kind of scaling up, right? It's going to be more utility in this draft. Then Sylas's Rod of Ages timing becomes very good in this game, and I think Bulldog would be happy to receive it if he is given the gift. Now, easy drop in top lane if you just want to get rid of that turret. A choice has to be made here for Guangdong Freaks. I would personally give it to Bulldog, though. As that is the timing you are trying to rush as fast as possible, and Showmaker hasn't done much in terms of stifling it at this point in time.
And also it's Bulldog, right? Like, he is a win condition in unto himself here for Guangdong Freaks, and I think identifying that is a great way to win. Showmaker connects some chains. We'll be able to slow down the Sejuani for now, but nothing really going to come of it. As 3 minutes until a Cloud Drake means we have Infernal, Hextech, Chemtech. Oh dear.
Could be Chemtech. I feel like it's just inevitable at this point.
I would like a Chemtech Drake. Does feel good. Especially feels good for Guangdong Freaks as double AD carry towards that bottom side. Certainly going to be able to utilize it. But few auto attackers on the side of D+ here as well, as Canna hits Meganar. Level disadvantage. Doesn't have his first item complete yet.
Hextech is crazy, what it does in both of these comps.
Yeah.
That's the one that, like, we're going to be fighting on Drake a lot, is Dudu just ignores Gnar's autos and just wants to get this plate.
Just straight up does not care. Of course, has to picks up turret aggro, I believe.
Yeah.
Because of the Barney Cinder.
Miscalculated the damage a little bit on that one, unfortunately.
Yep. Man, look at that lead.
Yeah, it is massive. And the leads elsewhere are so small, they're practically negligible, right? Is Deft got that kill bottom side, that's why he has a kill's worth of gold ahead. Just going to force this turret, or is he?
Well, he's going to try to, but right now he's taking a lot of damage, so does need to respect how frustrating the mini Gnar can be if you cannot close the distance. But of course, cannot leave his turret almost at any point.
Yeah. So Dudu kind of getting a little bit greedy there twice in a row. Will not be able to get that plate and actually has 2 back. So big win here for Kana. This is the play earlier where heal is expended. June flashes this one very nicely, uses his arrow here to buy time. Taeyoon cleanses this, and Canyon flashes forward. And that's when you see June is like, all right, well, maybe I could slow him down so you can get out. But nope, Deft ults him. That's the end of that. Herald does get dropped for Bulldog, meanwhile, in live, as we were suggesting. And he should be able to pick up that Rod of Ages very soon here.
Oh, Youngjae going to find Canyon as well. Bit of bullying being done by the Sejuani as Kellen's going to move over. Smite used. Canyon does clear out the Krog camp. relatively well.
We have just not seen bullying of a Maokai like this from a Sejuani in a while. It's surprising Young Jay is the one to do it to Canyon of all people. Just with a small experience edge here, he's just constantly doing it with the topside prio he has, stealing these camps away, stifling some of the money here for Canyon.
Ooh, Chains of Corruption avoided there by a slight step to the left.
Ghost Blading.
Yeah. Like to see it. Does have that extra movement speed. Will certainly be helpful as Quantum Freaks want to grab first brick. And it's certainly looking juicy here towards this top side.
Just trying to keep Canyon out here, trying to force him to ult early so they could just collapse in and take his
Arrow. Will it connect onto Showmaker? That is a great distortion. Oh, man. Looking beautiful. Bulldog picks up the Mimic. Not exactly the highest of value, though, but does give him the extra mobility.
Really important he dodges that. Meanwhile,
oh no, we've seen this one before. Kana should hit Mega. As there's the wallop, there's the Gnar as well. He misses the clock. Oh no.
I
don't think it would have done anything anyway.
I love how all K'Sante matchups just come down to like using the turret in a 2v2 basically.
Yeah.
Like, is it my turret or is it his turret? Like, this is just the K'Sante matchup. Like, how far away is the K'Sante from the turret, or how far is the enemy away from the K'Sante's turret? Like, whether the kill pressure is there or not. And Dudu just gonna use ult and Ghost here, and Kana, of course, losing control of this lane again. Already teleported just moments ago, so is just going to lose the entirety of the turret. So despite living here, Dudu's still getting a ton of money. D+ going to turn this into a 2-Drake lead.
Yep, and the Hawk Shot will spot it out. A lot of people are on their way over. Rod is done here for Silas. Yep, Young Jay gets in. Arrow will connect. Oh, the twisted advance!
Sick dodge.
To avoid the arrow and then smites it away, but they're not out of dodge just yet. Canyon will be taken down. Def trying to take control here. Dodges the first bullet. Not so lucky on the second. Bulldog comes on over. There's the flash, the arrow, the flash from Jun though, and then dodges the last one. Def, you're pretty good at this game, my friend, as Young Jay now going to get snared up. Showmaker going to find the chains. Man, that was a really cool sequence of events. But I think Quantum Freaks still come out pretty well.
So much of trying to kill Def there was so greedy, but it was also almost perfectly played because Taeyun is holding those final curtain call shots so that Bulldog can get in there on top of Def, and he just plays it so well. Uses his flash expertly and gets out, because if you actually lock him down there and grab a kill, this is an amazing exchange of events. Just look at this twisted advance to dodge the arrow and secure the Drake at the same time. Twofold win here as Flourish does connect. You see Bulldog come through, and then Def, it looks really bad for him here. And Jun is like, all right, I've got the slow storm, just hold it. Bulldogs like, I'm going to go over. He's checkmated, right? Then he misses, and Def gets a good flash, and then just dodges with some side steps here. This is really unfortunate, because there was so much that could have gone right there to kill him.
Yeah.
But Def outplays it.
Yeah, it was really nicely done. His flash didn't actually quite work out, but of course has the shield bow, so was absolutely fine. 1,000 gold of plates, largely towards that top side, but a couple in the mid lane, of course, from the Rift Herald from earlier. D+ Gear without the lead that they had in the first game.
But Infernal Drake feels pretty nice. You know,
yeah.
As the Soul here, you're feeling pretty good about your 2 Drakes.
But now, you can't do the same thing that you did last game, right, Wolf? D+ Gear need to continue getting these dragons, because if Quantum Freaks are able to stack up 4 of these Infernals,
yeah,
it's a very different story.
Very different story, and you don't have the same sort of side lane control either this game. You have Kana, who's very behind and very muted this game. You have a Silas that will be hitting 16 very early with Rod of Ages. Around 24 minutes, he's going to be very difficult to deal with. Showmaker doesn't have a massive lead, won't be able to just walk over to the Silas and kill him or put threat onto him. You can do a lot, obviously, with this Maokai pick, you know, on the side, and it can put some extra threat on the K'Sante or that Silas where you can collapse and kill them, but D+ Gear really need to win team fights now cleanly, and that's what this is all going to be about. It's Canyon's ultimates, how they deal with Bulldog's pressure here. Not the lead they had last time, so fighting is a lot more difficult. But it is definitely possible, right? This is not a Zeri game either for Def, where it's like, oh, well, Def can't fight yet. No, he absolutely can. He's on his way to a Rage Blade here. Yep, very ahead of the Jhin, who's more utility in this draft.
Yeah, going to be building that lethality version of the Jhin, so far more of the sit back and try and get those sniper shots in, as you can see right here.
Mikhail's Blessing is huge here for Kellen, so Def essentially has 2 cleanses now, so picking him with the arrow into Sejuani, etc., Silas Fall, much more difficult to do. So I really like this choice of build here from Kellen.
Yep. The one quandary that I have is how useful Kana is going to be. How much he's going to be able to affect the team fights moving forward. Gnar can always do so, but Dudu has just been doing such a good job in this early game that is where a lot of my questions really are for how this game is going to end.
I agree. I think that it's going to be about his flank angles, how well he manages his Gnar bar, which is much tougher to do when you don't have control of sides. When you're winning sides, it's really easy as Gnar to, as Huni was kind of suggesting earlier, walk into the lane and push it really far and then come back with your bar, use a Gromp or something like that. When you have a lot of vision control, when you have a lot of power on the map, Gnar can do so much. But when you don't, you know, it's like, where is my Gnar bar now? Because it's the only one I got. And you can see the leads here across the board for Kwangdong Freaks. The one shining light for D+ Kia is Deft. And we've already seen Showmaker start to put some pressure on June in this game. That's the one thing I was talking about this LeBlanc does extremely well, is just constantly threaten the Jhin, constantly threaten the Ashe in the backline. Every time the Sylas steps forward, they had that Rift Herald play. Showmaker's like, if I get this route, June is dead. I will kill him. And he's already been very proactive so far. He built a Dark Seal here too. He's like just trying to be as efficient as possible with these potential picks. And it's weird to say this, but like a comeback is possible for D+ Kia. Off of the back of these carries, if they execute well. Deft has already got the lead he needs.
Oh, 100%. And they've got the couple of Drakes as well. So in 30 seconds time, D+ Kia get to fight for Soul, and that'll provide them with a lot of control of this game. As Showmaker gets over, Youngjae takes a lot of damage. Another round of that from Showmaker, and then Youngjae not going to be able to offer too much.
There's that poke
as well, yeah. Showmaker's LeBlanc always been exceptional, continuing to show exactly why it's so useful. It's on over. Youngjae taking some more poke. Dudu wanting to avoid Kellen at all costs.
Just trying to proc Luden's on cooldown, especially on the squishes, but even Youngjae, as you say, taking a lot of damage here. Kana built up a Gnar bar. He's got it in the perfect spot here to come over for a flank. It's a very difficult fight for Kwangdong Freaks, and they're trying to split push mid. Not much of a split push. No health bars here, and this should go the way of D+.
You have to be so decisive against this style of play, because D+ Kia will just continue throwing LeBlancs at you.
Yep.
And saplings, and arrows, and all sorts of things.
No Jace in this comp, but they still got the poke.
Oh, they absolutely do. There's even Kellen slowing down the Sejuani here. This Drake not long for the world. And there's the Nature's Grasp. Is he going to get in range? The answer is no. Curtains have been called, but Showmaker is going to force Taeyun out of this fight. Can't get that fourth bullet. Bulldog unable to affect the fight either, and D+ Kia expertly done. And it's still behind in gold.
Yeah.
You still can't walk up to a Drake pit.
No, you cannot. And now Kwangdong Freaks have to win the next fight. And that's the one where Sylas is getting stronger, right? Rod of Age is getting closer to completion, and there is a little bit more money on this Jhin. But you could just see Showmaker, despite having a pretty weak laning phase and not actually making an impact there, is making all of the impacts in these skirmishes. Constantly proccing Ludens. You see the flank from Bulldog. You know he wants to come over there on the edge, deny the Gnar, and come in try to trap D+. Look at where he is going to be in this fight. See where he is, like saying on the Maokai ult? You see that? Showmaker's like, all right, Taeyun, you're trying to ult? I don't think so. Meanwhile,
Arrow will connect as Youngjae going to take down Kellen. Zod, not sure what he was doing there.
Okay, well he doesn't have, he has his Mikhails he can use to try to protect his AD carry, but he doesn't have his own cleanse when these combos do come through.
Yeah, not enough anyway, but that's a nice arrow to land there from Jun. Make sure that that karma is going to go down. And I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, well we probably will in a replay in a moment, but we won't know for now.
That's true.
We won't get to the end of that last replay, but my point is Showmaker instantly gets on top of Taeyun and pushes him back. As this is going to be the moment here, Sejuani ult, you have to imagine, maybe not even needed here.
Oh, Kellen just thought that he was capable of doing that.
And he was not.
No.
3D ward clear, trying to get some deep vision for Baron.
Well, he probably won't be doing that again. As Deft with an Inspire Shield going to move on up. And Kellen now, on his side of the rift, should be A-okay. Let's see whether D+ Kia can actually wrestle some money out of this map, because of course there are outer turrets aplenty. They haven't been able to get one of them. I think that's the reason why they are falling further and further behind, because as turrets fall down, map control also starts to evaporate.
This is why this comp and why a lot of people have frustrations with Gen right now in this meta, because even if you have a lead, right, like Kwangdong Freaks do in terms of vision, you know, Showmaker had to back there, you have side lane control, he doesn't have teleport, now he's slowly coming back. You can't just, as Kwangdong, be like, cool, got him, let's start a Drake. You can't T1 it, because your comp just doesn't do the damage quickly enough. You have a Sylas mid, you have a Jhin with Ashe support with Imperial Mandate. You don't have the damage to just rush a Baron down and say, cool, got the map control. That means we get a Baron. That means we get more map control. D+K have a lot of freedom to just kind of catch some waves, sit back, and play around their win conditions on this upcoming Infernal fight, where there's going to be a lot more open space for LeBlanc to do things, even though she's been a little bit muted again in the side lane here.
Yeah. I think Quantum Freaks, if you are a Quantum Freaks fan, you're probably still okay with how this game is going, that it can slip out of your hands so quickly. Canyon on this Maokai has already shown that it is very, very difficult to try and fight for priority around objectives into the tree. Deft will take down the Merkle.
The patience here too, Atlas, sorry to cut across you there, is just so good here for Kwangdong Freaks, and they're just pushing waves and making sure vision is everywhere so that Showmaker can't find a pick. Because Showmaker, he's 0-0-1. That's a respectable scoreline for a lot of mid-champions, but for LeBlanc, you wished it was much higher. You wish you already had your Void Staff. You wish you actually could do a lot of damage to the front line here of the Sylas, because every time he pokes this Sejuani, Warmogs comes into play. So they did a lot of damage on that last objective fight, and they were able to secure it. But Youngjae could just kind of heal through it now, and as this team gets more and more tanky, as Jin now has the Eclipse online, you know, the fact that he is not in a accelerated state in this game, is not fed, doesn't have any magic pen here versus a straight into death cap, Rod of Ages completed Sylas, is one of the problems. And these two team comps have completely different win conditions here. It's about circumventing the front line here with this LeBlanc, setting up for the front line fight with the Maokai.
Well, nice Arrow going to stop the back. That's quite frustrating, as immediately Kellen's like, how did you see?
Exactly.
Ward's going to be taken down.
This is a game that D+Kia can win based off them being the stronger team. They have better mechanics, like they can outplay. But those opportunities get smaller and smaller the longer this one goes.
I agree. And I think that also the longer the game goes, the less opportunity there will be for Showmaker to find those angles, right? Like, it is certainly difficult. Also, how valuable is this more attack speed focused Varus going to be in these longer fights against all of the CC that's available? You know, think about playing Varus into a Cassante.
Yeah.
That is a dangerous thought. It's Bulldog splitting on the top side. This is an inhibitor turret.
D+Kia's macro being tested here. Back from Kana, he has TP, but this might just be an inhibitor. They have so much control over the map right now. Showmaker's just tossing out chains because he can't flank anybody. Nobody's under threat.
Yeah, and now without a turret, I don't know whether Kana can even stop this inhibitor from going down. So D+Kia now without their Gnar, who wants to build up an Arbor to try and get some control here. Already Kwangdong Freaks have started this one off. It's beautifully orchestrated. The arrow is not going to land. The teleport now to come through from Bulldog as it attempts to be stopped, but he grabs a Gnar ult, and there is the denial of the soul. Now Dudu going to get hit by those chains of corruption is now Bulldog. Can he get into that backline? Can he find it? There it is! Deft is going to get locked down, but immediately the Mikhails is in. The cleanse is there. And Youngjae now trying to run for his life. Dudu is so incredibly low. The team fight lasting forever, but honestly, the objective's already gone.
The objective's already gone, and D+Kia have an open inhibitor now, and the side lane match is just not there. Sylas is 16 now, Kana is 14, Showmaker is 14 in this game. Dudu's lead is so annoying to deal with. He's got Jack shows into Force of Nature here, and that the Sunder, and... or not Sunder, the Sunfire Cape.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's very difficult to kill, and you can see in these fights, he can just walk at them. He can just walk at them, and yeah, everything goes wide here CC-wise, but he blocks the choke. Teleport comes through here, but Bulldog's just waiting for one chain opportunity for the Gnar. Hits it, that's it. That's the end of the fight. Are they going to follow up? No. With Jin? No, they're not. And this is a very good topic for chase. They don't need to. You see, June is sitting back here just trying to slow the chase, and they're like, heist successful. We used the Gnar ultimate successfully. We did not get inhibitor, but it's open now. As now D+Kia have to operate on the top side of the map, dealing with that here. And look at where, on the opposite side of things, Dudu is pushing bottom side. And now Kwangdong Freaks, now that they're stronger, now this death cap is done, Jin's got 2.5 items, you might be able to start a Baron. It's still very slow, but you're getting closer to being able to actually threaten this real objective, because denying Infernal Soul is one thing, but securing a Baron, that's a real threat.
It absolutely is. And I think D+Kia probably going to learn a few things from that last fight as well, because we saw that Gnar ult go off, and then we saw a severe lack of any follow-up damage, right? Bulldog is so much of what Kwangdong Freaks have to work with, and that is going to be one of the things that Kwangdong Freaks will need to play around as this game goes on, because you need to be able to have that wombo combo set up, and if there is no damage to follow up, it's going to be really difficult. So Taeyun getting into position and being able to answer is going to be very important.
Showmaker
clearing out vision.
He does have his Void Staff now, and significantly muted in this game so far, and you can see he's just catching waves here, not going to be able to put it on any pressure, but he can do more damage as
oh, there's the chain CC. Canyon going to try and do what he can to CC everyone, but I think he might just die. Never mind. He's going to flash. That's going to get him out. He's going to be all right. Okay, Bulldog finds the chains. Dudu comes on over as well. Callan, you can't be caught out like that.
Single target pick in this comp is amazing.
It's insane.
And Canyon, even though he's a tanky Maokai at the front, he's not that tanky when you have that much follow-up. And I feel like Youngjae played that exchange perfectly, and he has had Canyon's number all game long, a whole level up the whole time, chasing Canyon around the jungle, preventing his level 6. And after what Canyon shows in the last game, it feels like revenge.
Well, this is that really slow Baron. And they are starting right now, but 4 versus 5. Their turn is terrifying. Showmaker dives forward, Jun, good flash. Gets him out of the way. No heal available either. As in goes Dudu, once again buying time, buying space. The Baron goes down. The Cassante does too. Now D+ gear. You have to kill everyone to try and deny this. You're already running out of turrets. That's a great disengage arrow, but you cannot disengage Showmaker. Once again, this turret's still here though.
Turret's still here at full health, and there's just no further chase. This comp is so good at chasing. It's got a LeBlanc. It's got a Varus here. Could chase so quickly and has so much range, but it's not enough when the Ash arrow is there to deny. You get over the wall, there's a turret up still, and this is just Youngjae saying, this is my game. The arrow connects, he goes straight through. The ultimate here from Canyon, the follow-up is beautiful. Meanwhile, live, another Sejuani ult, forcing a flash.
As Callan gonna have to run out of this one. A lot of auto attack damage being done here as Def turns it around. I'm casting in the picture-in-picture. It's quite difficult as now Canyon gets an Inspire Shield. Bulldog looking at the low health, 0 mana Deft, but can Canyon survive? The last bullet does not connect. The Nature's Grasp is going to come through. Canyon still just walking it out. Can he live? No.
He's grasped.
He was grasped by his own ability.
I mean, Showmaker gets a turret here on the top side, but he's not here for the defense now. Jungler down, and there's a lot of damage here in the siege for Guangdong Freaks. Bulldog is going to push this through, and this might be another inhibitor turret going down if they want to commit heavily. They do still have that Baron buff. Not going to commit too hard here because they want more than an inhibitor is denying that Infernal Soul that Drake has now spawned. Good block here from Kellen. Look, intentional or not, it doesn't hit Deft, who isn't going to be able to turn this around with Chains of Corruption and Canyon's re-engage, but it's a trade of kills here with Baron buff up, and Guangdong Freaks will happily take it.
Yeah.
I hope we don't watch this whole replay because there's a lot to discuss in live, but we're pushing. I guess we're going to do the whole thing.
Yeah, this was Canyon's very slow demise as the hands come out of the ground.
Another Zelda thing, you know, for us to talk about.
Yeah, there we go. It's like the Spirit Temple. Oh, sorry, the Shadow Temple.
Yeah, exactly. So Guangdong Freaks, as I mentioned, they back off a bit. It's going to take these waves that they have control over to take Drake with 2-man while putting Bulldog in the bottom lane. And, you know, probably somebody's tuning in going, where did this go wrong?
Yeah.
For D+ Key, I mean, 7,000 gold ahead. I think the top lane, and it's the jungle matchup. And Showmaker, unfortunately, not getting anything done in the early game. This comp needed to have a bigger lead, and they just sat under turret bottom. Mid lane was safe, and top lane was under full control. Youngjae connected the dots, and if you're just tuning in, it's like, is D+ about to lose to Guangdong? Maybe. Starts to feel more and more likely each and every passing moment here as Silas is level 18.
He is. He's absolutely massive. Dudu is also absolutely gigantic. 50 CS in the lead. Showmaker has a CS advantage, so does Deft, but it's just starting to feel like none of that really matters. Runon's Hurricane now completed for Deft. He does so much AoE damage if anyone's in range of him, but we've seen already that the single target, very long-range pick is how Guangdong Freaks are winning this map right now.
And it's even with the Mikhail's Blessing, it's even with the cleanse. You know, he has to play so safe. Because if he's picked, the fight is over. LeBlanc is almost now Showmaker on that death cap, but isn't there yet. And every poke he puts onto the Sejuani is just ignorable. He doesn't care about it at all. He's got Warmogs, back off cooldown. It's already back at full, doesn't care about this even a little bit. This Gnar ultimate that Bulldog can hold all the time too is just so amazing for a team ahead like this. He gets it on command. Kana has to build it and manage it.
Yeah, it's always been one of the most impressive Silas ultimates. Pretty nice to be able to pick that one up as Showmaker gets over this wall. Looks for Bulldog, will find him.
Stopwatch available for Silas too, so he can go deep, force this on his terms. He's going to time out this time around, but he should be able to grab another one for the next Drake fight, for the next Baron, right? By that point, he'll be able to steal it again. And we're getting to a point in this game where we might go 40 minutes plus because Guangdong Freaks have a comp that doesn't have amazing siege, doesn't have fast Baron deletion, as we've talked about many times. And you know, some of the leads across the map will be evened up by D plus Kia, and it may just be one of those games that comes down to the clutch engage, maybe some amazing backline find by Showmaker or a big canyon ult that leads to Def popping off.
Yeah.
But we have to say, like, no matter how this game ends, clean gameplay from Guangdong Freaks, one of their best games.
And also just such an upgrade from what we saw over the last couple of weeks, right? Like, this team has transformed. And we already saw Jun play. He played in their first series, but it wasn't like this. This is just, it's really nice League of Legends to watch. D plus Kia absolutely being tested, being pushed as far as they can possibly go. Currently, their base in shambles. But the standing gold on the map, definitely very large. Only one turret, has been taken. The mid lane outer is very low.
Showmaker backing for Deathcap here. It's going to be a huge spike for him. Massive damage coming through. Control wards being bought, but I mean, they're just defending the siege right now.
Yeah, Deadly Flourish coming on in. As Canyon just going to hit Young Jay with a Q a few times. Otherwise, not too much going to happen. Canna just in a lot of trouble this game.
45 seconds until this Baron, and D plus Kia need a miracle. They need a Gnar fight. They need some sort of backline pick from Showmaker. And with all these waves pushing through, Guangdong have bought almost infinity space. They haven't been able to take out any inhibitors. That would be the cherry on top. And that's what they're trying to do here.
Arrow is just barely going to connect onto Canyon here as the arrow sails over his head, engaging onto the Maokai. Not exactly the greatest move, but they're going to take what they can get.
Showing that twisted advanced trickery once more on the minion.
And now Showmaker looking for a bit of a 1v1 onto Bulldog here. Can he turn it is the question as Canyon moves over. Half of his health bar, but remember, oh, Bulldog dashing forward. Distortions being traded.
Yeah. This is when you have enough damage to actually kind of outplay the Sylas because he can't hit you with chains and you can keep hitting him.
Well, Chains of Corruption does come in immediately. That's going to get cleansed as Canyon's diving on into the enemy team. He has a stopwatch, is going to use it, but can they take him down is the question. The answer is absolutely yes, as Def is going to be pulled out by Dudu. Does have the flash, tries to get out, but it's not going to be enough. And now Bulldog is going to dive on top of Canna. He'll be taken down. The Gnar secures the Sylas as Showmaker is at least still alive, but it's only him and Kellen that are left remaining.
Yep, they're going to be able to push down this inhibitor. Looks like Dudu with the teleport just wants to back with full health to end. Does get interrupted here on that back, so they're just going to try to push it in now. Not going for Baron, just trying to end this one right now. It's only Showmaker who can defend. He's got a lot of damage. He's got a stopwatch and a dream.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether this dream is going to be a Nightmare Wolf as the turret is getting taken down. My God, that interrupt was just gorgeous. And Dudu, give him the POG right now, Wolf. Write it down. This Cassante was ridiculous. Guangdong Freaks are legit. We're going to game number 3.
I'm bewildered. I am impressed. I am surprised.